general overview of CCP, what it means, what are some of the rules for Ohio's CCP program, and then we will have a representative from Lakeland Community College speak to you about their specifics, and also a representative from Lake Erie College speak to you about their specific program. We also partner with Kent State Ashtabula, however they were unable to attend tonight. But please know we do have information that we can give you if that is one of the schools that you're interested in, or we can make sure we get you their contact information. They do typically attend tonight, and they're sorry they couldn't be here. So we'll go ahead and go over the presentation. I know it's a lot of information. Afterward, you can also go back out and speak to the representatives from Lake Erie and Lakeland. And if you're like me, maybe once you're driving home, that's where a lot of your questions come. And you can reach out to myself and Mrs. Holderman anytime, and we're happy to help you, because I know it can be a little overwhelming if you're new to CCP. Okay, so College Credit Plus, CCP, is Ohio's program where students can earn dual credit. So a student would take a college class and it would earn them college credit as well as high school credit. A quick example would be a student might take an English composition class at a local college, and not only are they earning college credit for that English class, but they're also earning high school credit for that English class as well. So to do that, students would have to pick whichever college they want to attend for College Credit Plus. They have to apply to that university. We can kind of help a little bit with that, but here at the high school, we're separate to a certain extent. We can just give advice and help students, guide them a little bit. So that's why we do partner with, like I said, Lake Erie College, Lakeland Community College, and Kent State Ashtabula, because those are the closest to us, and that's the most common ones. But you can really, students can participate in any college that has a CCP program. We do have students currently participating in Ohio State CCP, Cleveland State CCP, because they do offer online as well, Mount Union CCP. So there are options. If there's a college you know you might be interested in, then that is something we can help you with, okay? So you would apply to that college, go through their process, and once you're accepted, you would then begin their program. And it is possible to participate in 2 different colleges at the same time. So who's eligible? Ohio lets students participate, students in grades 7th through 12th grade. And you have to be an Ohio resident to participate in Ohio's CCP program. And then you have to meet the eligibility, the academic eligibility requirements. So that would be a mix of a particular GPA and often a placement. Depending if the student maybe doesn't meet the GPA, they might have you take a placement test. And that sometimes that also depends on the particular university. So that's why we wait to see which university the student's interested in or college, because the university or colleges can also set their own requirements for admissions. They're not always universal. So then other things when we're talking to students is if they're college ready. And so that's a big difference when you see grades 7 through 12. Not all 7th graders are college ready, and sometimes I can say this, I have a 12th grader, maybe not all even seniors are college ready. It really sometimes just depends on the student. So college ready is a mix of obviously being academically ready to handle the rigor of a college class, but also possibly the social transition, because it's a college class where maybe a 7th grader or a 9th grader is sitting in a classroom with possibly 25-year-olds, and the instructor is not going to modify the curriculum. Nothing's going to be changed just because someone is 13, 14, 15 years old. So it's kind of that emotional and social, when we say college ready, that's a bit of it too. And just making sure the student can handle the college expectations, time management. Even though right now in a high school classroom, you might go to school 5 days a week. In a college class is probably 2 days a week. The coursework and study time outside of that class is much more intense and would be independent on the student to do. And then also, some of the college classes have content that is maybe geared towards older students. They call it like mature content. And I placed it, a lot of you might have already been sitting here when I placed it at the tables, and you can grab when you walk out. But all students will have to, if you think you might participate in CCP, there's a letter of intent that's required annually by Ohio. And also, the first time you apply to any university, the mature content permission slip. And that's, like I said, on each table and you can grab it now or on your way out, but that's actually a new requirement for Ohio that each student has to sign, the parent and the student, that they know that that's a possibility. So I already touched upon this a little bit. There are some obviously differences between high school classes and college classes. The test, when you're in a high school class, you probably are taking a test at the end of a chapter or unit. In a college class, you might only have 1 or 2 tests. It could be a midterm and a final exam, and most of your grades could just come solely from that. Study time in a high school class, maybe it's an hour a day, maybe it's not even that often. In a college class, a lot of times the study time is per credit hour. A student might be studying 3 to 5 hours a day for that class outside of school. In terms of the graded work in a high school classroom, a lot of times the homework and the grades are based on quizzes or just maybe in-class work or outside homework. Again, in a college class, there's not always as much work. There might be a quick quiz or something, but there often in a college class, there might be discussion boards, and then, like I said, maybe the midterm and the final exam. As you know, in a high school setting or even a middle school setting, a lot of the materials provided by the teacher in class, there's not maybe a ton that's outside of class, but in a college setting, a lot of it is done on your own. It's much more independent. So that's why it's really important for the student to be at that mature level to handle that, because the instructors are not going to be going up to the student and reminding them that there's a test or just reminding them that homework's due. It's expected that they have the syllabus and they're checking it on their own. In school, like right now, if a student were to not come to class, you probably get an infinite campus alert that your student's tardy or didn't come to school that day. In college, you don't get that. Like a student, you may not know until a student's academically dismissed from a class, and that's where you could be charged for a class if a student's academically withdrawn because they are not showing up to the class. So that's where there's some of that. There's some freedoms with the college classes, but also being able to attend. And as a parent, you don't know that if your student's attending or not because the instructors won't tell you. And then in a high school setting, you can email the teachers or go see them at conferences and find out what's going on. In a college class, you don't, because the student is the one, they're the college student. So the instructor is only going to talk to the college student. And I know, especially as like a 7th or an 8th grader, that can be frightening, but they're the college student. So that's who the instructor is going to talk to. So FERPA, and part of that, when you're saying why is the instructor always going to only talk to the student, it's because of FERPA, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. It's to protect the student. However, they do know, because some of these students with CCP that are younger, there is a permission to release information form that can be signed so that you could connect with an instructor or get the students, your own students' records, grades. Otherwise, you could always have your student show you through the computer the grades, and it would go on the transcript when the semester's over too. So what are some of the benefits of CCP? We already said that it is dual enrollment. A student would take a college class at whichever college and then get high school credit as well as college credit for that class. It also helps you get a little head start. A student might have an idea of what they might want to do, and maybe they want to go in the medical field or science field or math field, maybe business, and it kind of gets them a leg up in starting some of those classes, and maybe they like them, maybe they don't, but it kind of gets the student a feel for what college life, college level work is like, and what those classes are like, if that is something they want to do or not. And it's something based on, there's a rule, the 30 credit rule, which I will go over with you. Those classes are free to you and your student. So it's a way to save money, save tuition, save textbook money, and kind of figure some things out a little bit. So we already talked about the intent to participate. That's, like I said, the form that I have out on those tables when you walk out. And this is just something every year you just fill out the information, and there's no harm in completing it. Maybe you think there's a chance your student might do CCP, and you just complete it and turn it in. And if you change your mind, that's no big deal. You don't have to participate in CCP if you change your mind, but it is important if there's even a chance that you get that into us by April 1st so that you can get that state funding so you can take those classes for free. So you want to make sure if there's even a chance you get those forms back to us by April 1st. But these forms are not the actual college application. The college application would be going directly to Lakeland's website, to Lake Erie Colleges, and they'll talk to you about that when they're up here too. So I mentioned the 30 credit rule, and I know this can be a little confusing, and like I said, I'm happy to work through this with you one-on-one. Essentially, every student can take up to 30 credits per year. And the credits are not just a college class. It's not just like I talked about English composition earlier. That's a 3 credit hour class. It's not even that. It's also a high school class. Most of our students do a blend of high school classes and college classes. Maybe they take 6 Perry classes and 2 CCP classes. So what you would do is you'd look at the student schedule as a whole. I go into Infinite Campus and I look at their student schedule as a whole. And maybe, like I said, they're taking 6 Perry classes, and you multiply that by 3. So 6 times 3, and you can see the formula on the screen there is 18. If a student can only take 30 credit hours for free, then you subtract that. That means then that they can take, there's 12 credit hours left. And that means that student could take 12 credit hours of CCP. In some of the CCP classes might be 4 credit hours. There are some math classes or science classes because of labs and such. So we just always have to be real careful. We have students that get real excited and really love the CCP, and we have to just stop and be like, wait, let's make sure that we're good with it. And especially once you get into high school, some students maybe do health online in the summer or something like that. The summer is actually when the school year starts. So if there's a student that maybe did health in the summer, that counts towards this. So it might be however many Perry classes you have in the school year, plus if you're someone that took even a CCP class in the summer, because some students do CCP in the summer, or like I said, online health as an example, all of that adds. You just want to make sure you don't go over 30 credits, because once you go over 30, even if it's 31, you actually pay for the whole class. So if you got to the point, if a student were at 31 credits, you don't just pay for that 1 credit. You would, maybe one of those classes was a 4 credit class, you'd actually pay for that entire 4 credit hour class. Does that make sense? I know it's overwhelming. Like I said, I can help you figure this formula out student by student. So as I just said, the summer's part of the school year. So we just look at the student schedule, summer, fall semester, spring semester. So it's the whole school year starts in the summer. That's what we look at. And so where can you take these CCP classes? We have some students that take them right here at Perry. We have a partnership with Lakeland where they come into one of the hallways. We call it the Lakeland hallway. Lakeland comes right here to Perry. Depending on how many students register. So like right now we have an instructor coming to teach Composition 2 and Sociology. And it's nice because students can still see their friends in most of their classes, and then one block just run up to the hallway and still take a CCP class. Lake Erie College also has the welding program down the hall. So we do have students that are doing Lakeland CCP and Lake Erie College and Perry classes all at the same time on our campus. We have a lot of our students that like to do online CCP because it offers them flexibility to maybe go out and do internships, or maybe still have a full Perry schedule so they can see their friends and do sports, and then maybe Sunday's their most free day of the week, and they just dedicate every Sunday to that online CCP class. There's a lot of flexibility. And of course, especially our kids, once they start driving, there are students that choose to drive to that school, whichever college it is that they choose to attend. So what courses can the students take? The biggest thing is I tell students, when you see a course, we have students that get really excited about a course, I always say make sure you read what are the prerequisites. And you just want to make sure that you've met the prerequisites, but you're safe if you at least take usually the level 1 courses. And in Ohio, they want you to make sure that your first 15 credits are typically the level 1 courses. And we really look over that with our students anyway, as they're signing up. And as we mentioned earlier, like using the English example, it's great to fulfill your high school credits at the same time. So especially as upperclassmen, some of those last few classes that they're taking are knocking out high school classes and things that they could be taking for their future, and it's a nice blend. So things that are not allowed in CCP that the school in Ohio do not pay for, private classes. So like a one-on-one, maybe you're really into the piano, it would not pay for you to have a one-on-one class with an instructor. If there's a class with a super high fee, that would not be it. Study abroad, some of the physical education classes like yoga, that's not part of it. A pass-fail class is not included. And any remedial classes. So when we usually keep our eye out with this, and as students are looking, we help them. And then most students go through a 15 credit hour, 30 credit pathway, and here's just some examples. For students getting ready to register next month for classes, we have this also in our registration guide, so you will see this again. These are just examples. It doesn't even have to be this. There are some students, after they get through some of the classic classes that they take at first, some kids know that they really want to maybe go into the medical field. So they start working on what they think they want to major in. We have a lot of high school seniors taking classes toward their major. So for grades and GPA, so the CCP grades that students earn in those college classes are the same grades that will appear on their high school transcript. So your Perry High School transcript will not only show the Perry High School classes, but also the grades of their CCP classes. So if a student were to fail a CCP class or withdraw, the college transcript and the high school transcript will show that. So that's why it's really important to make sure that the student is ready, really truly college ready to start that CCP program, because that grade will always be there. It'll always be on the transcript. So if a student does not earn a passing grade or withdraws past the deadline, the school does require you to pay for it. It would go into your Infinite Campus fees, and also that includes the textbook fees. Normally you do not pay for the textbook fees unless if you fail or if you withdraw past the deadline. Grades in CCP classes are factored into your high school GPA, as well as you would have the college where you're taking your CCP classes, you have a GPA with them too. And if you go on to a 4-year college or any college after high school, that GPA would go with you there too. So those CCP classes, most of them are all weighted, and that would, as long as you pass the class, you then get college credit. So that's how you earn college credit. And for those of you coming to our registration night coming up soon for the high school, we do talk about the differences between AP credit, advanced placement credit, and CCP credit. And this is one of the great advantages of College Credit Plus. You automatically get that college credit just for passing the class. So if a student were to not do well, even if they don't fail the class, but just continually maybe not get great grades, a student would be placed on CCP probation once they get below a 2.0 GPA, or if the student withdraws from 2 or more courses in that academic semester. And so we would send a letter home to the family and explain it. And then once a student is unable to increase the GPA, if that were to happen, there is a dismissal process. But hopefully this is not a situation. And if a student does get to the probation point, we sit down and talk to the student and family to make sure we're on a good path so that that doesn't happen. So keep in mind support services, us, like I said, myself and the other high school counselor, each college has their own academic advisors to go to. And there's tutors and learning centers. You would have access, once you're admitted to any college you attend, you are considered a college student there. And so you have access to all of the services they provide. And then a lot of people want to make sure, will my college credits actually transfer? So most courses do transfer, especially from the public colleges to another public college in Ohio. So there's a website called transferology.com that's fantastic to use. Also, the transfercredit.ohio.gov. Those are websites we always encourage students to use. You could type in that you took a class at one of the local colleges here, like the English Comp, and maybe a student's looking to go to Miami of Ohio. Does it transfer? And it tells you exactly what it's similar to. All right. And now we have Ms. Dalton from Lakeland Community College.
Hello, I am Jody Dalton. I'm the CCP Student Success Navigator at Lakeland Community College. Lakeland has over 1,600 CCP students. They make up about a third of all Lakeland students. We have over 140 different degree and certificate programs. Students can take Lakeland courses and it can fulfill their high school graduation requirements. So this chart, it's also on our website. It just kind of breaks down some of the graduation requirements and what Lakeland courses would fulfill those categories. We offer classes here at Perry, online, or at Lakeland's campus. We also have some different certificate programs. We have a lot of health tech options, welding, IT, real estate, business, and more. These are just some of the schools that we've had students transfer to after Lakeland, after high school. A lot of students think that CCP credits don't transfer, but that's not true. They do transfer. We've had students go to schools in 46 of the different states, over 350 schools altogether. So CCP eligibility, students going into 10th, 11th, or 12th grade with an unweighted accumulative high school GPA of 3.0 or above can be accepted without having to take any placement tests. Students in 7th, 8th, or 9th would have to take some sort of placement test. They can take the ACT, they would need an 18 on the English portion, a 480 on the SAT evidence-based reading and writing, or they can take Lakeland's placement test and they would need a 263 on the AccuPlacer writing test. Any students who do have to take Lakeland's placement test, there is a lot of free test prep resources on our website. There's videos to watch, practice tests, a lot of good stuff on there. This is just a checklist of everything that students need to do to get started at Lakeland. So the information session, you're at that right now. The intent to participate form, you'll get that today. That'll be due to the high school. Then you'll have to apply to Lakeland. It'll have you create an account, and then you have to fill out the CCP application. A social security number is required. A lot of students just create the account and then they never put in their social and they think they're done, but that's not true. You have to put in your social security number. After that, you'll have your transcript sent to us. You'll do the mature content permission slip. If you have to take the placement test, you'll do that. And then you'll get an email letting you know that you're accepted. There's an online orientation, super short, that you'll do, and then you can contact the CCP office to register. Our website has a lot of great resources. This checklist is on there. Everything that was said tonight is going to be on there. So if you have any questions, you can contact us too. And I'm going to pass it on to Lake Erie.
Let me just do my not so graceful transition to a different slide show. Okay. There we go.
Hi guys, I'm Clara Gallion. I'm here to represent Lake Erie College from the Office of Admission, and I know some of this information is things that have already been gone over tonight, but just wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about the things that are specific to Lake Erie College's CCP program. So kind of one of the big reasons to choose Lake Erie College, if you're not familiar with us, so we have 5 schools within our college. So we've got the School of Business, School of Equestrian Studies, School of Education, School of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, and School of Arts and Humanities. So if you think down the road, a program that kind of falls into one of those 5 schools might interest you, there's some really great opportunities with starting through the CCP program at Lake Erie. For the most part, you can take most of the courses that we have. Like they were saying earlier, it's usually based on if you meet the prerequisites or not. And the nice thing with a school like Lake Erie, we are a small private college, just around 1,000 students. So you do get the opportunity, even as a CCP student, to come to campus to work with faculty from your field who are really knowledgeable. We have a 15-to-1 student-faculty ratio for our classes. So you really do get a lot of opportunities to work very one-on-one with people who have a lot of connections or really knowledgeable in the areas that might interest you. CCP can also offer considerable savings for you. At Lake Erie, as a Lake Erie College student and as a CCP student, you get the option to participate in campus organizations. You can be involved in our theater. You can go and enjoy our athletic events. All of the things that are open to college students are open to you as well that you can go and enjoy. And we talked a little bit about this. Again, as long as you're meeting the prerequisites, you do have the opportunity to take pretty much any of the courses at Lake Erie College. There are some restrictions, again, kind of like they were talking about earlier, based on the state requirements. As far as application for admission goes, so the application is located on our website at lec.edu. Typically, we're looking for a preferred cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher, but that can be somewhat flexible. Test scores are not required for us if you have a GPA of 3.0 or above and are entering the 10th, 11th, or 12th grade. If you do not meet those requirements, for whatever reason, we would have you take the AccuPlacer test as well, same as Lakeland, but we actually do the reading AccuPlacer, so it's just a little bit different. And again, similar to Lakeland, we would send you information and practice tests so that you can kind of prepare once you schedule an AccuPlacer test with us. We also do require what's called the Guidance Counselor Recommendation Form. If you're thinking about applying for this coming fall, I do have printouts of that form at the front tables, but that's something that your guidance counselor would fill out on your behalf that kind of just gives us more information about you as a student and where you're at in the college readiness process. All of that information, again, is up front, and I do have... We'll jump ahead real quick. I do have this little barcode up front as well. It takes you right to the CCP page on our website, but that's just a good place. Again, lec.edu, you can apply there. And then ccpinfo@lec.edu is kind of our main email account as well. And all of that is located on our website too. And then as far as deadlines go, so we talked about the intent to participate form being due by April 1st. Deadline to apply to Lake Erie College is going to be April 15th. And then deadline for the AccuPlacer, if that's something that you need, would be May 17th. And then May 31st is kind of our deadline for course registration. We really want to get you registered for courses before you leave for summer break. And then finally, once accepted, you would get an email from us letting you know that you've been accepted into the program, and then you would participate in a CCP orientation, and more details are to come kind of about what that will look like this year. But just to go back to this slide, if anybody else wanted to grab a picture, again, lec.edu, you can apply, and the application is open now.
Just a reminder, normally Kent State Ashtabula would be here. They just were unable to make it tonight. So we do partner with them. We have a few students that do drive out to their campus a couple days a week to take classes there. So if you do want some information, we can definitely get you in contact with their CCP office. So now if you don't have any questions for me, you can go back out to the hall where you can actually speak one-on-one with the representatives from Lakeland Community College and Lake Erie College. I will stay here, though, if anyone wants to talk one-on-one with me about some specific questions. But thanks so much for coming out. I know it's cold and snowy, and we do appreciate it. Have a great night.